on. Yeah.
We got a couple that are
That's a good way to start, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't plan our introduction as per usual. How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
January
Snow and
laws.
snow and cold and
Yeah,
such.
Christmas, the holidays are over. We've gone home.
Hmm.
Kids are going back to school. Everybody's back to work after the break. You're like, I don't really want to work. Yeah,
Yep.
but we had our competition to, perk us up. Although you had mostly finished yours by the time January.
I did, but I did that over the holidays because, well, it's funny because these competitions are really the only reason that I do anything at this time of year. Like, it's so cold and so I was looking at my time and availability in January, and because I'm working Monday to Friday, kids are home on weekends. It doesn't leave a lot of time to tinker and play with stuff. So I used some of the time in the holidays to take advantage of making some stuff.
Yeah. Oh no, it is. I wasn't judging. I was just like, but it doesn't give you that excitement to do in the middle of the blahs if most of the work is already done.
Yeah, I have been done for a little while, haven't I?
Yeah. You have. Oh wait, shall we introduce ourselves before we get
Yeah,
too
sure.
far down
Yes.
this rabbit hole?
Yes.
I'm Kipling. I am the owner and operator of Tapley Tinsmith. How about that for a? Ooh. Yes, I'm Tapley Tinsmith. I'm the tinsmith coppersmith of our brothers in smithing duo. And you, sir?
Do you have a nugget?
Oh, I have a nugget. I have 2 chickens stuck to my ceiling. That is my nugget.
Still.
And
Yes.
I believe one of your children may have been involved in sticking said chickens to my ceiling. So
Yeah.
every year for Christmas, my wife finds a silly gag gift that she stuffs in everybody's stockings, whatnot. One year it was the little ducks that you hide everywhere. One year it was these rubber chickens that you can, put on a finger and fling off like they're little, and they're sticky. And then I found a couple more this year, so I gave them to my wife as a and then apparently they were found by the children and they were stuck to our ceiling, and I haven't climbed up on a ladder to get them down because their ceiling is like 12 feet high there.
Yeah.
We have good high ceilings in our living room. So, yeah. So I have 2 chickens, and they have been stuck there
For
I think,
weeks.
since you were here last.
Yep. Nice. 2 nuggets. You have chickens on your ceiling, and you have a 12-foot ceiling. That's good.
And I have a 12-foot ceiling. Look at that.
My name is Andrew. I'm a blacksmith, and I'm the owner-operator of Deer
I
Run
love
Forge.
how you put the little air quotes. No one saw, but
No, we never know how to say that. It's like, I am Deer Run Forge, or, whatever. I operate Deer Run Forge. Anyway. So yeah, that's, I'm the blacksmith of the Brothers in Smithing Duo, and my nugget is, instead of a phone ring dial, my phone chirps like a bird, specifically a chickadee.
that's specifically a chickadee. Is
yeah.
it the mating call? Is it the winter call? The summer call?
It's a short alarm call, so the chickadee.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you're a nerd.
Yeah, 100%.
So this is our podcast where we talk about our monthly challenge. If you've never listened to us before and you've gotten this far into the podcast, congratulations. Every month we pick a project and blacksmith it, I coppersmith it, tinsmith it, and then we post it up on Instagram for everybody to take a look at and vote for the favorite. It's really not about who wins. It's more about giving ourselves new things to work on and new ideas to push ourselves creatively. And this last month that we just finished, we did a lighthouse. And
Yes.
I got thoroughly swamped. But
yeah.
that was fair. It was a well-deserved win. It wasn't really that bad of a thwomp. But, you got 2/3 of the votes. I got 1/3 of the votes. But yours was amazing. Like, it really was such a beautiful artistic piece. There was a lot of motion to it. You even did your little story that, to get the emotion and tear getting stuff from everybody. Oh, you did a hard sell on it, like not gonna lie, but but it was good. It was really good. Whereas mine was cool, and I'm very very happy with mine. But mine is more of kind of what you would expect from a little lighthouse diorama like thingy. So I don't think it was nice. I enjoyed doing it. I can't say there's anything super special about it, but I
but
liked it.
but some unique things that you haven't done
There
in
was lots of
yet.
techniques that I hadn't tried. It's the first real sort of full diorama thing that I've tried to do with the copper work and stuff like that. So I'm very happy with how it turned out. But although they were both lighthouses, it was very much comparing apples and oranges. You really took it and ran with the concept
Yeah,
and did a full artistic sort of feeling behind it, and it was really really cool. And
yeah,
especially you managed to film it well, so you can see it. Yeah, yeah. So
yeah.
no,
It
it
and
was.
honestly, it's the first thing that I've made that it's been like I started trying to get an emotion there, and it came across, and like it's really cool. And I am completely sorry that I didn't bring it when I came to see you. It is very heavy, and I probably would have been very nervous transporting it up and down the road. Um,
That's fair.
but it is actually scheduled tomorrow morning to go to the Lighthouse Center here in Burlington, which is a basically a grief counseling service, a free grief counseling service for people, specifically children and youth who struggle with the loss of somebody. So they're going to take it as a donation. Not 100% sure whether it's going to sit in one of their buildings yet or whether it'll be a raffle prize fundraiser thing for them. But excited to see how they use it to their advantage, and because it again, I kind of said like I don't want to sell it. It kind of feels like you're selling. I don't know. I've never had this
That's what
experience as an
artists
artist.
do.
I
Just
know.
putting that out there.
I
But yeah,
know,
no, I
I
get
know,
it.
but this is the first time I've done this, where it's like
Absolutely.
it is a piece of emotion that I made and created, and there's something attached to it. And I'm like, I don't know, it feels like I'm selling my soul or something like that. So, yeah,
It is. Well, hey, it's going to a good place. The aproposness of, I don't know even that's a word. I like it sounds good. But of the fact that we were making a lighthouse and there's a place called like
the lighthouse.
a facility called the Lighthouse that
Yeah,
just works with the feelings that you had put into that. I think it's
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah,
Mine's sitting down on a shelf down in my workshop.
yeah. So that is last month, and yeah,
Yeah, it was a well-deserved win. It was your third win in a row. Although I will say, I don't think it was you shouldn't be winning three in a row at this point. Um, First of
you're
that
still.
series, which we're going back three here. The bat you
I was gonna
shouldn't
say
have
you're
won.
still upset about the bat, aren't you?
I'm still slightly bitter about the bat. You shouldn't have won that.
You should have pushed me and said, you should just quit. You should just forfeit, because I
No,
was this close to just forfeiting
uh,
on that one.
I know, but yeah, yeah. So, but yes, you are up by three right now. 26 wins in total to my 23. Oh, it's a bit painful.
So you need a win on this next one.
Apparently I do. Although,
And this,
after you've lost three, now you get that like undermined confidence. I'm like, yeah, I think mine is awesome. I think I should win hands down. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, yeah, no, you just got the following, and I don't apparently.
but it's funny because so I had a viral reel years before we started doing this, and I got a stupid amount of followers for it. Um, like I currently have about 13,000 followers on Instagram, none of which listen to this podcast, and none of which vote on our things.
No, I know.
Um, it has dropped by a couple thousand, so I think a lot of the bots have disappeared and everything like that. But your Instagram has slowly built, and mine has slowly. So, like, your following, aka the people that view your stories, has slowly built, and mine has slowly gone down to the point where we're fairly have a. It's within the same realm
Oh,
of.
it is. No, we get the same because that was my worry when we first started this. Like, you've got all these followers, you know, are the votes on my Instagram going to even matter?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I could win or lose on mine, but it wouldn't matter because, the losing side on yours is more than mine total combined. I was worried about that. Didn't turn out that way, so
As
which
I
is
say,
really
it's
nice.
never happened that way. So yeah.
No. Well, moving on. So that was last month's,
Yep.
which if you're curious about, listen to last month's podcast. You'll hear all about it. But this month we are doing the concept was a hidden cubby. So this was we kind of rotate through what our topic or what our theme is going to be. Sometimes it's like an image, sometimes it's a thought or something. This one was a structural feature. We needed to have a hidden cubby, and then we wanted a theme, so as they were both sort of tied together a little bit, and we decided Viking. So you had to make something that had a Viking theme to it, and then there was a secret cubby or compartment that you can put something in, but it's not an obvious when you're looking at, like, it's not a door that you're going to open or anything like that.
Yeah. And it was
How'd it
all I
go?
could do to not make a helmet with the antlers or the horns on it and just have it like unscrew like cartoon style and there be
Yeah.
something inside it like Skittles and then you're like very cartoon style. Um almost did it. Couldn't pull my it was, um
It would have been
so
cool.
yeah, it would have been cool. So I started with trying to, there's I don't have a lot of tie to Viking heritage, um, other than just like the typical stuff you see online. So there's axes, there's swords, there's shields,
There's
there's the
floaty
ships, the
things. There's runes.
yeah. But
Yeah.
there's not as much as some, because a lot of it was this like warrior culture basically, um, and uh, it was like, well, I don't want to like make something cheesy or gift shoppy sort of thing. Um, but I
Absolutely.
also
And just to give people context, neither one of us have, as far as I know, have any Viking ancestry.
not that I know of no.
Yeah. So yeah.
Uh, so and I was trying to come up with what it would be. Like that's kind of where I'm at, even with the projects going forward. Is like, what is it going to be? What is it? What purpose does it serve? Right. Which is funny because last month I did like, what emotion is it, and now I'm doing what purpose does it serve? But
Yeah.
um, so I was like, well, it'd be cool if it was like on your desk. And my first thought was an axe like embedded in the ground, and then you take the handle off, and it's a pen, right? So I'd forge the axe head out and like make it all like battle scarred and stuff, and then the pen would fit back in the handle. It would look like an axe embedded in the. You'd pull it out and write your pen, um, and adjacent to that was, what are you going to write on? And everybody writes on post-it notes, and I was like, ooh, you could hide a post-it note behind a shield, and then I was like, oh, or in a shield. Um, so that was kind of the concept. I don't know how many people are allowed to have weapons sitting on their desk anymore, like an axe, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. It's not sharpened.
and it's
Well,
embedded in a piece. But again,
yeah.
there's
That's fair. That's fair.
that's
And
where
I
I
would
shied
argue
away from
that
that.
had you gone in that direction, I would have called foul because a pen holder is not a hidden compartment.
That was another piece of this, and we did chat about that too. Um, so that's I went with a shield. So I started with the typical, I forget what it is, 3.5 inch by 3.5 inch post-it note.
I don't know.
Um,
You made it. I have not measured a post-it note.
I don't I have, but I forget what it was. So then I'm making a circle and the components and stuff to a. So then I made a steel Viking shield with all the weathering and grain and stuff like that. The cool thing that nobody else will know is the center nub. I'm sure it has a name.
I'm sure it has a name.
Is a piece of wrought iron. So I'm like, ooh, that's like old ancient metal and Viking feeling and stuff like that. And then the top pulls off, and hang on, let's get some ASMR. And you can get post-it notes. And it really is mainly hidden when you're looking at it, and hide your post-it notes, and sits, I would assume, on somebody's desk. Yeah, that's what I made.
Well, it looks cool. I they because it's got the rim on it, and then they aren't actually riveted on.
No,
You got little beads of solder, which I thought was a neat touch to do. It would have been cooler if you actually riveted it, the whole thing together, but
yes. Actually, you know what the coolest part would have been? Had I had a year to do this, um, if the compartment inside was on a spring and you push the center piece
oh, that would have
and
been
this
cool.
post-it note goes twing, and then you push it down and it goes click, and then you push it and it goes cling. Um, yeah, couldn't figure that one out in time, but
And what you would have been pushing would have been the boss or the umbo. I just looked it up.
aren't you
I
smart?
like the word umbo. It's
Umbo.
the umbo. Push the umbo. Sorry.
It's much better than what we were calling it earlier. So
It was. It's much more appropriate for a family audience.
because
Although
that's who's gonna listen to this.
I know.
The funny thing is, both of us, our kids, have taken to like, oh, a long road trip. Let's listen to Daddy's podcast. And so I think that that's what we have in our mind. Is I'm like, I don't want to have to explain this to them later. That
And yet, if we look at our swear chart, you've sworn 4 times so far.
3.
Oh, 3. I have yet to do that. Now that I've jinxed myself, knock on wood.
Chicken.
I'd knock on your shield, but it's metal.
Chicken.
Those are on
So,
my ceiling.
so, so what'd you make?
So I went with again, had the same thought that you did. What screams Viking, especially, if we're going to a market and putting it on the table, sword, axe, shield, ship. And so I went with the idea of making a Viking ship. And it turned out really, really cool because what I ended up doing, I started with the keel. And for the first time, I actually forged copper. So we had done some casting of copper about a year and a half or so ago, with the scrap copper that I have all my cutoffs and whatnot, which I saved. And I took a chunk of that, I threw it in a forge, and I got my forge actually up and running again because it's been collecting cobwebs for a while. Sorry, pardon me. And I heated it up, and I actually forged it down into a keel, and I forged the dragon head of the, maiden head of the ship, and I put a little curlicue on the back of the tail, and then I dished out 2 halves of copper to put the hull together, and I soldered all that on, and then I made some shields, and I got a mast. But then for the cubby, okay, it is a ship. Is it unsurprising that the compartment is in the hull under the deck? No, but and you can sort of hear the sail rattling around. But the best part about it is you actually have to take the mast and give it a quarter turn clockwise, and then it comes off. And then it goes back on, and you give it that quarter turn counterclockwise, and you can hold it by the mast. It doesn't come off. It's good and solid on there.
That's slick, man. That's slick.
Yeah, I was stressed out about that mechanism quite a bit. Went through all sorts of little, how about this, yeah, until it kind of figured out. But I love it. It's really, really cool. There's some.
So explain to us how simple, or briefly explain how the thing goes.
It was interesting. So I ended up putting. Okay, we're gonna go back a little bit. The mast is a hollow brass tube.
Yeah.
And I happen to have some copper tubing that is small enough that it just barely fits in there. It's quite nice.
Okay.
So I took a piece of that copper tubing and I drilled a hole in it, and I put a pin and soldered a pin sticking out. And then I took that tube and I soldered it to the bottom of the hull.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, and then I cut out sort of an L shape on the bottom of the brass tube. So
Mm-hmm.
it'll drop down over the pin, and then you turn it and it locks in. But the deck has to come off with the mast. I didn't want to pull out the mast and then have to have a handle on the deck to pull the deck off. So I needed a way for the deck to come with the mast, so it's all one piece, but the mast can still rotate within the deck. So
Right.
I ended up having to create another ring, and I actually put a pin through the mast itself, just underneath the deck, and then I soldered another ring underneath the deck that had a slot cut out of it that pin can rotate far enough in there, so it stays attached
Right.
to the deck, but it can rotate freely and pop in and out. And then
Cool.
the deck is just a little bit concave, no, convex. And so you have to put a little bit of pressure to push down, and it keeps the deck in solidly as you do it and lock it in. And so there's a little bit of pressure on there, which is nice. So it
Cool.
was fiddly,
Mm-hmm.
but it was cool. And then I had to mount the sail. The sail actually is one of my favorites. It's definitely a Viking ship that's seen some action. The sail has some wear and tear on it, but I actually ended up overlapping brass and copper strips and soldered them together, and then cleaned them all up. And then I ended up actually using some chainmail links that I made, and they're linked up to the yard arm at the top. But I had to make a brass fitting to get the yard arm to attach to the mast. There was a lot of little bits to it, which were frustrating, but at the same time really rewarding. Trying to, you know,
Was it
monkey
hard
wrench
to
my way around.
to solder all the copper and brass? Like there's what 12 of them across, or
Yes, there's 6 copper, 6 brass.
look at that. I'm pretty good at guesstimating on that, eh?
Yeah.
So was it hard
Well,
to
yeah, you
because
can
you'd
see
have to
some
heat
solder
them?
marks. You can, you know,
Yeah.
you, there's definitely some wear and tear on the on the sail,
Cool.
but it gives it some character up in it, antiqued up nicely. The shields on the side look good. They're all riveted on. Yeah, all in all, like it was a complicated build. Definitely one of the more complicated things that I've done to date. And I was actually, as I was finishing it off, and it all came together, and I was like, kitty little wee, running around the house and showing everybody, and really annoying. Um, I sit in there thinking, I'm like, I can't conceive of making this when we started 5 years ago now.
Oh yeah.
Like,
It's nuts,
not
right?
even, it wasn't even like in the ballpark. Like, we're not even in the same, you know, country at
Yeah.
this point. But to be able to complete this, and turns out, there's flaws in it. Not gonna lie, but I'm super super excited and happy with the whole thing.
Cool. So
Yeah.
you're gonna make a flotilla of them now? Like that's gonna be a. They'll have different figureheads
probably
and.
probably not. Um, but we do have, here's a bit of foreshadowing, a boat race challenge coming up in the future where we have to make a boat. So this is some good practice on this boat. The hull is 2 pieces that are soldered down the middle, and that solder job is not perfect because it didn't have to hold water. If it was, I think it would float, but as it's not right now, it does sink. But
Wait, so if I took your Viking ship into the bathtub with me and I wanted to use a pen, I couldn't float it in like rubber ducky. No.
no, no, it's not going to float. It would sink. And yes, the cubby you can put, or the compartment, you can put anything you want in it. But because you did the post-it notes, I thought, I'll throw some pens and pencils in there, and so now you can have your pens and pencils in the Viking ship, and your post-it note and the shield on your desk. You won't
Yeah.
have room for anything else on your desk, but
No. Well, actually, that is a question because they can't see it. How big is your ship? Two
the
feet
ship.
by 33.
No, it's not 2 feet long. It's probably stem to stern. I didn't measure it, to be honest. 8 inches,
But a
and it's
pen fits in
probably
it.
what?
A pen nicely fits in
Pens,
it.
pencils, markers, stuff like that. They all fit in there. I had a pile of those things in there. I think if you have a brand new pencil that hasn't been sharpened, it's tight.
Hmm. Hmm.
but as long as it's been used a little bit, it will fit in there.
Discriminating against all those brand new pencils who have yet to be sharpened.
Apparently,
Yeah.
apparently, but I'm super pumped by it. I think it should win. You know,
Ah. Hmm. Now
because
this is the funny thing because just because cause, so there are some ones that it's like, is there more skill and effort in building yours? No one is. That's not a question, right?
no, it's not. Like, and again, you can't. Is there more skill? Absolutely not. Is there more effort? There's probably a bit more effort. Mine was a bit more fiddly than I think you ended up having to do with yours.
Mine just went
Like,
together nicely, but again, that could just be
yeah,
my skill.
it could be. Mine definitely has more parts.
Sorry.
There's definitely a lot more creation of parts in there. But no, there's no like it's not a skill or a you know complexity to build. I don't think like you can't compare those two
but
at all.
but that's but that is sometimes when you're looking at it is the more complex, the more intricate, is that a good word for it then?
That's a good word for it.
um Yours is definitely more fiddly or intricate or those type of that type of thing. Mine is very simple, put together. Like it I the channel that the post-it notes slide in, it was actually a square tube, and I cut it in half. It just
And
happened to be, and I welded that to the front. And I was like, well, there's the channel. And again, it just happened to be the right size for all the things that I was looking for. The interesting thing, because I only have limited time to work on these things, so like I had about 3 hours of forging time to do this. Um, a lot of it gets done beforehand, and I find that I actually plan and prep my stages to do that. So like I'll have all of my materials set out in a Princess Auto sells these little bins. I don't know if you've seen them, the black bins. And that's
yep,
one project for me, right? So this is
yeah,
one project, this is one project. And if there's anything associated with that project, I need this size drill bit, I need this, it'll be in there. And I'll even go through how am I going to weld this, what am I going to do, so on and so forth. The interesting one for me on this one was the metal ring around the outside of the shield. It's really hard to bend flat bar the
without twisting it. Yeah,
without twisting it, yeah, on the flat, right, not on the angle. um, so I was like, how am I going to do that, how am I going to do that, because that's going to be like that could take an hour just to get that without twisting in it and stuff. And then I had the thought, what if I just forge it in a circle the same as the outside and then hammer it flat, and I'm going to be really close to the side. And man, like just having that thought and being able to do that, and it worked in 20 minutes and it was done. It was like, yeah, that thinking time paid off
oh,
in the end and stuff. So yeah,
100%. And you are much better at the pre-laying out everything. I work better sequentially,
yeah,
and I find a lot of the builds, especially the first time I'm doing it, like I don't draw them out. I don't draw the scale well. I don't think. I don't know. I don't do enough practice. Probably what it is. But I definitely okay. I have to. I need this. All right, I'll make this. Okay, now I need to do this on top of it. So each piece, there's I think about it as I get to it, and then I have to then I design it and build it that way, which is a slower process. I have more time than you do to do it. But there was a lot of that in here. It's
yeah,
the I have 3 or 4 ideas about how I think the closing mechanism is going to work. I am now at the closing mechanism stage. This that idea is not going to work because of this. Oh, that idea is not going to work because of this, and I work that way.
yeah. Hmm.
So so
I
yeah, like
I was gonna say it's funny because I was looking through my notebook because I'm now sketching for next month and stuff, and I'm looking at the past ones and I'm like, it looks like I just drew the thing after I made it. Like it's getting to that point where it's like, oh dang, that looks exactly like my lighthouse thing. Like it really it creeps me out now, where I'm like, huh. And I don't know. Yeah.
No, I think that's a great idea. I wish my drawing skills were better, so I can maybe do something like that, because that gives you a better that first visual. Whereas, yeah, like I'm thinking of our next project right now, and everything about the next project is based around one central piece that I have to create first, and then everything will be sized and scaled
To that.
to that. Like I have
Yeah.
an idea of what it's going to look like, but yeah, I've tried drawing it because like I've seen how you do it, and it looks really really cool. And then I draw it, and my drawing looks like terrible.
So, if you want to see these, you can check us out on Instagram. Brothers and Smithing is the main one. We post all of our stories. Both of us post our update stories and stuff like that on there. But we do have our own Instagrams. Kipling's is Tapley Tinsmith. Mine is Deer Run Forge. And then a couple days after this comes out, on the 27th?
26th.
20,
26th.
no, the competition's the 27th.
Oh, sorry. The podcast will be coming out on Monday the 26th,
Yes.
and then the day after on the 27th. This will be posted. Yes.
They don't need to know when the podcast comes out, because if they're listening to it, it's already out.
Sorry.
So the competition will go up on January 27th, and you can go to our stories, and it just click the thing in the stories, the button thingy, and that's how we.
There's a poll in there that you can choose which one you like better.
Yeah. Now look
And
who's
please
explaining.
do. We like to have people vote, and even if you vote for the other persons, we're still happy that people are interacting with their stuff. So.
And share it with the people in your lunchroom and stuff, and that's what this is meant. All this does is encourage the two of us to get out to our shop and make something that we would never make, that we never would have made 4 years ago, 5 years ago when we started this. But also, again, this is the only thing that I've made. Well, I made one other thing, but this is the only thing that I made this year. This is the reason that I got out to the shop this year, or this month, excuse me. So by voting and telling us what you think about them and stuff, it sort of encourages us to continue to do that. So it's only insulting when you don't vote.
But vote for me, because I'm losing now.
I will allow you to vote for Kipling on Tapley Tinsmith, and then vote for whoever you think should win on Brothers and Smithing. Let's do that.
Sure.
Do your libation there? You've been sucking on a medicine bottle there. Are you?
I have. Well, it's just a cutely formed bottle. It's one of sort of the Belgian style bottles. Everybody knows what. Well, anybody who drinks Belgian beer knows what it looks like. Anybody knows what you don't know what it looks like. But it's kind of, is that fluting at the top? Is that what we call that?
Sure.
Yeah. It's a Saint Feuillet. It's a triple. It's a Belgian beer. It's very nice. It's not, because the last time we were recording, I think I was drinking the quadruple, which was 11.5%. This is only 8.5%. So,
It does look like you're drinking cough syrup, though.
That's fair.
Yep. The white label kind of has the vibes of the medicine bottle. I would say grape flavored cough syrup is kind of what it looks like. You're down in there. I have a little bit of red wine, some local Henry of Pelham, HOP. Some
Oh, yeah. Hank, as my family calls it. So there you go. Random nugget. My sister went to the Ontario Science Centre Science School with one of the Speck brothers, and it's the Speck brothers who do that.
Yep.
Who own that. But so my brother-in-law always says that when you know him this well, you call him Hank.
I see.
So that's known as Hank around our house.
There you go.
But
it's actually very close to the Morningstar Mill, which is normally where I go and use a coal forge and blacksmith down there and demonstrate. So it's literally around the corner. So
yeah, it's good wine. Not that we are sponsored at all by Henry of Pelham, but
but if they ever need any copper work or blacksmith work, you know where to find us.
We can do some stuff there.
We can do some stuff for you, Hank. I mean, Henry.
Yes. but but yeah, so that will be good.
Uh, do you want to do your randomness or do you want my question first?
No, why don't you go for? We'll be serious for a little bit longer. Do your question. I don't know how serious your question is. You haven't told me your question yet.
I haven't told you my question yet.
So Andrew asks something.
So my
Oh, I
question
know,
for
I know, I know. Wait. Let me guess. Andrew's going to ask, what kind of a car does a Viking drive?
no, that's not my question.
A
What card?
Fjord.
A fjord. All right, that was good. That was good.
Sorry,
um,
sorry.
yeah.
Did I derail your thought process?
No, no. I was just allowing the audience to take that one in for a second. I was. My question has to do with a little bit of shop organization, but more about revisiting shop organization. Long story short, I was making something, a small little blade. We made a couple the other day when I was up at your house, and I was making another one, and it's a little blade out of a hacksaw blade, uh, and I put it down, and I folded the piece of brass to put around it, and I couldn't find it. It had disappeared.
Disappeared.
And everybody knows that feeling. And I looked and I looked and I was like, oh, it must have fallen. Look on the floor. No, I put it on this piece of the device, not on. It would just be right here. Why is it not right here? And I'm like, no. I'll just keep doing something. I'll just keep the process. I'll bump into it here. 20 minutes, haven't found it. Start cleaning up a little bit. 30, 40 minutes, I haven't found it. Now I'm like, it existed, right? Like I spent like 10 minutes filing on this piece of metal. This thing exists. I couldn't find it. So then I was like, it must have fallen. It's only a thin piece of metal. I'm like, it must have fallen on the dynamic jaw of my vise, and it's underneath my vise. That's the only spot I haven't looked, right? Pull my vise out, actually unscrew the whole piece of the vise, and I have magnetic jaws, like the soft jaws on the vise, and the one of them falls off, and I was like, it's not in the vise. It's not. Put the vise back together. Go to pick up the magnetic jaw. You see where this is going now?
Yeah, I do.
And the dang thing somehow is on the inside of the magnetic jaw. How it got there, it probably would be like another 6 months before I would have found it had I not dropped it on the ground. But in doing this, I went through the bin of scrap on the ground and the bin of scrap over here that it could have fallen into, and ended up reorganizing my scrap. So this is where the question comes from, okay? Is I have a scrap bin and I have a parts bin, and I keep them separate in my head, and sometimes I will go to my scrap bin because I'm just looking for that little bit. But this is meant to go to scrap, right? Next time I'm going to drop off scrap metal, this is where it's going. Whereas my parts bin is the pieces that I think I might use again, right? This little ring, this little piece, this little cutoff, this could be forged, welded for something. So that goes into this bin. But after a while you go, I would never look for this here. This is too small. I would never use this. So I find that like it shifts where if you haven't thought about it, if you didn't know that piece existed. I don't know if it's easier for you because you deal in sheets or whatever, but for me with the little pieces, like how much of a 1/4 inch, okay, I cut a piece of 1/4 inch rod, it's 1/2 inch long. Now that's scrap, right? It's 1.5 inches long. Maybe 2 inches long, 100% I'm keeping that. There's a weird line for me, right?
Yeah. You've got a cutoff that you're like, yeah.
And that ebbs and flows.
That's
And I
fair.
find I have to go through my parts bins or my scrap bin to, before I, otherwise you get too much of it and everything and it gets lost, sort of thing. So my question is, what is your scraps are different. We're kind of the same because those go into like a melting pile, but you do have bins of all your different metals, and I know that you go into those because that's what we did on the last weekend. We went in and we cut a piece out of the scrap stuff to play with things and everything. Um, but when is scrap no longer usable, and like how small of a piece do you throw in there, or big of a piece? Like if you got a 6-inch square, does that go in the scrap bin or does that go into your material bin?
Well, okay, that is a very long lead up to it. Andrew asks. I love that. You know,
Well, I had to give you my answer first.
absolutely, absolutely. We have to start by the understanding that I have an unhealthy obsession with containers. We know this. We
Yes.
know that I like buckets, and I
Yes.
always think we need more buckets or containers. I have
Yes.
a bin of buckets and containers that I really should get rid of, or at least some of, because I'm never going to use them all. But so I have lots of containers. The I've got I have my material, my stock for a better term. In one room, I've got they're in big sheets. I built a little plywood holder that holds them all upright, and it sorts them by type of metal because, of course, I have copper and brass and tin plate and steel and galvanized. And then I've got a set of containers for each metal that is stuff that I will reuse at some point. So if it's a 6-inch square, absolutely it's in there. If it's any decent size, it's generally in there. Corner cutoffs and that go in there. If it's really thin stuff or a really small piece, then I've got another bucket again for each material that is to be melted down later on. So I've got a bucket for brass cutoffs. I've got a bucket for copper cutoffs. The tin plate and that I can't reuse, I can't remelt, so it all goes into one to go into recycling. My cutoff now, several podcasts ago we were talking about I got a disc cutter,
Right.
which toolers use to punch out specific shapes, whether they're teardrops or circles or whatever they have. My cutoff to go into the uh, potential reusable is, can I punch something out of that? If I can punch something out of it, I will probably put it in the pile where I will tend to reuse it. That being said, I then also have an entire shelf of other containers that have, oh, here's some lengths of pipe that I have cut off. Like you were saying, like, oh no, this one's at least 2 inches or an inch and a half or whatnot. I can see it. That's going in here. Oh, here's are my wire cutoffs. I'm using my copper wire. You always start with the longest piece you need. I've cut off 2 inches. I've cut off, whatever it goes. I've got a bin for that. I've got a bin for weird shaped things that I've been making that haven't. I've got all sorts of bins for
Mistakes
different
and
things.
whatever, and yeah.
And then what I find is, so going back actually half a conversation ago, in my process for the way I make, I get to let's go to the Viking ship. To get the mount to put the yard arm onto the mast, I needed to design something. So I'm like, okay, I know I need something that I can fold over into sort of a C shape. I need some holes in it so it'll go through the mast. I'm going to need to put some pins in it. And then I start going through my random bits and bobs bins. And so I'm like, oh, that could work. This could work. I might not find anything, but it every time I do that, it refreshes my memory of what's in those bins. So
Yeah.
the next time you're like, oh, hey, wait, I remember not that long ago I was looking through there, and there was a pipe that had a 45-degree angle cut off one side, and that's going to be perfect for this piece here. So that's kind of how my disorganized organization goes.
And when you're doing that, you're going back through those bins. Do you ever like, why is this in this bin? It needs to be in here, or oh, that's where that is, and you move it over there.
Occasionally there's a shift. Um, Most of the time I look at it like yeah, no, I still got to keep that. I'm
Because
like,
here's
I'm not
my
getting rid of that.
problem. Here's my you're mainly plate steel, like 90% sheet metal
Yeah,
of different varieties of copper, brass, aluminum, steel, tin plate,
lots of different
whatever.
ones. Yep,
Fairly easy to keep those separated into the different cutoffs and stuff, right? And because let's be honest, it's a Lego container that most of your stuff sits in, and all of your brass cutoffs are in here, and the big stuff is generally on top. And you cut a little corner off; it goes into the bottom. If you needed to melt brass, you just move the big stuff and use the little stuff at the bottom. Correct?
thereabouts. Yes.
Yeah. Um. So it mostly, if it fits in the bin, it goes in the bin, and bigger stuff is in your stockpile.
Yeah,
Because I
with
have,
exceptions of like I've got a pipe rack that have my larger pipes in that. Yeah, like
yeah, but I have like pipe, I have flat stock, I have round bar, I have square bar, I have all varieties of mild steel, and then I have some copper, and then I have some anyway. So I'm just like, it's trying to figure out. I cut a piece of this pipe off. Is it ever going to be useful? Well, you never know when you're going to need a 1 inch circle that's quarter-inch thick, you know. But now I need to remember that I either have it or put it in a place that
absolutely.
I'm going to be able to find it, and that's the problem, right? So it's and
Because
revisiting
you have
that.
specific sizes and dimensions where most of my stuff is flat. The only thing I have to come become aware of is I do like my brass is actually in two different thicknesses. I do have a couple thicknesses of copper, not a lot of the thicker stuff. So I do have to maintain a memory of a little bit of memory of that, but not nearly the same state of
Yeah,
being.
because my thing is, if let's just say I needed that quarter-inch of that 1 inch pipe, I might go, I don't know where that is, and just take a 1 inch pipe and cut a quarter-inch off of it.
And sometimes that's easier.
And sometimes that's easier. So then why am I keeping that little bit? Because I know exactly where that 1 inch pipe is. It's 3 feet long, and I can take a little bit off of it, right? Anyway, I have that. It's the same with woodworking. I've
Oh yeah,
going
well
through.
you're a pack rat. A lot of crafters and builders are. We're pack rats, and also I find like again I don't know if this is true for you, but when you're going back through that scrap pile looking for something, other ideas pop up. Ooh, I could use that for this, or like
Yeah,
now that I've done this project, ooh, this would work really well for this, right? Like
yep.
there's some also idea generating from that random pile of stuff.
Well, there you go. That was my Andrew's ask.
That was a good involvement. All right, ready for silliness? It's not particularly silliness because this month's challenge was Vikings. Vikings were explorers. They made it all the way over to Lansemero in Newfoundland. Coolest place you've explored? Would you like me to go first? Give you a second because again, it's coming out of the blue.
Any
Um,
any any like by yourself or like on a tour or
no,
just coolest place?
I'm good with personally. I'm thinking natural world.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, Mostly because that's the one that I have in mind. And for me personally, I did some backpacking by myself, oh, several moons ago, and I ended up in off the coast of Italy. There's a little place called Sicily, and actually off the coast of Sicily, there's a little island called Stromboli, which is a double peaked active volcano.
Mm.
And I was able to go. It was on a tour, and we climbed the non-active point. We started at about 5 in the afternoon, and we got up to the top somewhere around midnight or so, and we could watch the other peak actively erupt at night. And every 15 minutes or so, you'd see the spurt of lava shoot up and run down the sides, and it was just this perfect combination of we're on a small island, there's water all around us, we're on a mountain, which is the earth, the air's whipping by us, and then there's these spouts of fire like your four natural elements all coming together. It was a mind-blowing experience.
Terrifying and awestruck and all of the things.
And climbing down a mountain at 1 o'clock in the morning was terrible.
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, you weren't going to go with the Green Gardens Trail. That wasn't high up.
I had thought that, and it's definitely up there. You and I
Uh,
did a wonderful, terrible, wonderful hike in Newfoundland, and the only time I think I've ever lost a trail.
yeah. Yep.
We had to ford a river, and we could not find the trail to the side, and unfortunately, it was a day and a half into the hike, and had to go
Of a
back
2-day hike, we were a day and a
of a
half
2 day
into a 2-day
hike.
hike, and had to cross the river. We knew we had to cross the river. Cross the river, can't find the other side. Probably spent a couple hours looking for the trail. Like
Oh
you went,
God, we looked.
it was, and it wasn't an easy river to cross. It wasn't like you dip your toe in the water. It was cold.
It was
Uh,
cold, and it was I don't know, what was it, 20
I
meters across?
and like knee deep of pretty
Yeah,
fast flowing water. So yeah, that one was an interesting adventure. But
adventure,
um,
fantastic, but
I always like, that you're driving in Ontario, and you see the barn in the field, and it's like, "Er." I just want to. There's like, if whoever was gonna not be upset with me, I would just love to go poke around in there because just to see the stuff that's left behind and everything. So I've got the opportunity either through my personal life or my professional life to go and poke in a couple of those places. And being a curator of a museum, I have a bunch of barns at my place. And when I started, they were like kind of like that. Like there's places that hadn't been touched in years. So there's equipment in there that no one knew that was in there. And I've since actually gone in and cleaned them all out. I had to be in one today cleaning it out, and it's kind of like I actually was looking at it today, going, "That's not fun anymore." Like I used to go in there just to like kick the dirt piles around and the hay around just to see what else was in there, and you'd find something, you'd be like, "Ah, oh, look what I found." Um, and now it's like, yeah, I've kind of explored all that, so I enjoy that. Um,
so you want a new barn?
yeah, I want a new barn. Um, or an old barn to just go poke around in.
Yes,
Okay,
a new
so
old barn too.
yeah, so like antique markets. If your hands don't get dirty looking at the piles of stuff, yeah, yeah, I'll look at
Okay.
it, but it's going to be way too expensive. They're going to want like, $5 for a wrench, and you're like, that's not what that's. No one wants that. But if it's in a bin that says $1 and like your hands get all rusty and crusty looking through, I'm like, give me a chair, I'm there. I'll sit down and like start looking through stuff and like, you know,
Well,
that's
there you go. New podcast slash YouTube video series for us. Old Barn Explorers.
old barn explorers. I've I've always it's funny because those barns are now worth money. So there's becoming less of them. So if they're going to fall over, there's salvage companies out there that will
Oh
say,
yeah,
we will not only just take your barn down for you, but we will now pay you a not a significant, but a small amount of money, and we will remove all of the junk. We will take it all apart. The harm and the health and safety is on us. And the barn boards themselves are worth it from
oh
those old
yeah.
barns. So and the beams and stuff, like people want those for their fireplaces and stuff. So
Hmm.
um, yeah, there's salvage companies out there that'll do that, and then just I'm kind of like, I need to find them and just be like, so before or after you make it safe, can like just pull it all down? Can I just like kick around? Can I just be on your team? Like,
I don't know. You go find an old barn. We'll get someone to film us and like those old school like paranormal explorers. We'll
yeah,
do
yeah,
that with old barns.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Get. Oh, we need the. It's all about the body cams now.
Oh, there we go. Get some body
Get a
cams
body
and
cam, yeah.
although I'd like yeah, it definitely needs a stabilizer. So I hate that shaky. Ugh, makes me nauseous. I'm old.
Old man, yeah.
I am.
Actually, funny story, because because we're doing this, my parents have started to pay attention to social medias, which is funny. My mom kind of always did. My dad now will I'll be talking to him. He'll ask me a question. He'll be like, "How did you get the thing to work? Or what did you use for the?" Anyway, he said to me the other day. He goes, "Oh, Kipling's getting a little gray there, isn't he?"
Yeah.
And I went, "Yeah, yeah, we both
Oh,
are."
so again, I ran into an old boss of ours at Costco yesterday.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
yeah, mom was there.
What?
Mom was there.
Yeah, mom was there. We used to call her mom. And I said, "Hey, how's it going?" And she was like, I have a picture in my head of you when you worked for us, and all of your red hair is gone. You're all gray." And so then I'm like, "How old do you think I am?" She's like, "I don't know, early 40s." I'm like, "You do realize I'm turning 50 this year?" She's like, "No, you can't be. I'm not that old."
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, no, it's I don't have any red hair. There's a couple like mustache and what are the goatee side thingies called? I don't know. There's a few red hairs there, but otherwise I'm all gray now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
you have
solid
still
gray.
nice dark hair.
Yeah, it's very. My facial hair is now mainly gray, so
Yeah, but
and
you can't grow
it
that
grows.
anyways.
Yeah, it just hides it better. I don't have to shave as much.
You use that Rogaine for men to keep your hair color.
Hmm. That's me. That's me.
Next month, since
Y-
we just to wrap up because we've been chatting a long time today.
Apparently, yeah.
So next month we are doing a concept piece again.
Yes.
Fierce was it fierce bravery? Is that what we went for?
Courage. Fierce courage.
Fierce courage, that's what it was. So we
Yeah.
have to make an art piece that, since you did such a good job with the lighthouse and getting your emotions in it, you want to do it again. And we bickered back and forth a little bit about what the title would be. Fierce courage.
Mm-hmm.
So any parameters beyond that?
I don't think so. I think this is the open
Just
art piece that
straight up open art, any size, any theme, as long as it falls into what we were thinking of. Fierce courage, okay?
and in our mediums and our metals.
Yeah. It's got to be metal. Metal has to be the predominant part.
Yeah.
And metal that apparently we have to make ourselves. You get upset when I stick together scrap pieces I found from around the place.
You know what I mean.
I know what you mean. We both have our projects in the past that we're bitter about.
Yes. Um I got to tell you straight up, I'm struggling. I had a concept and like it's like too pie in the sky. I started to like, "Oh, okay, how would I build that?" Oh, I have no idea. And then I was like, "Oh, never mind. Shift change. I'm going to do this." And then my concept is super heavy and I'm like, "Ooh, I don't know if I can I don't know if I can do that and do it well." And then B, I'm like, how, like the, how would I actually get it to do that thing? Yep.
Yeah.
I have no idea. If you were to ask me what I'm doing right now, I have no idea. I sketched 3 different things out in my book today, 2 of which are, one is super heavy. One I don't know how I do.
I'm assuming you were referring to heavy as in emotionally, not like physically.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Yeah.
like super emotionally attached, like little a child fighting death,
Yeah,
basically.
that's good and heavy. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, how's he gonna be a kid? And I'm like, I know, I'll put a little teddy bear. No, I can't do it. I can't like.
It's like the have you seen the Sick Kids
Hmm.
commercials?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like that.
that's what it feels like, and it's like, no, I'm not no, but that's what it would feel like. This would be a Sick Kids commercial, and I feel like I'd have to call Sick Kids and be like, I have a piece for you. This is yeah.
This is why you
So
make the money.
Yeah, 100% why I make no money. 100%. Oh, you did. Sorry, do you have any ideas on yours?
I do, I do. You actually mentioned the teddy bear. There, mine is a kid-based piece, and there is going to be a teddy bear in it. I won't give too much away beyond that, but
Cool.
so yeah, no, I have a solid idea. Like I like it. I think it's very doable. It's not like heavy, like sick kids heavy.
Yeah,
But no, I'm looking forward to it. So
I'm not because
because you
I
don't
have
have that
no. I
idea
don't
yet.
have the. You know how you don't have the thing yet. You don't have the
Yeah.
concept yet, and then as soon as you do, it's like diving. I haven't. I
No.
haven't dove in yet.
And we've
So
both been there. That I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't. And that it's a tough spot to be in. I get it.
yep, yep.
So
You did ask last podcast, New Year's smithing resolution. I
good
don't
thing to
have one
end
of
on.
those
I
either.
like it.
I don't even
You
have one.
don't?
No, no.
Oh, you suck. You had a
I
whole month.
I know, but I was gonna say I want to make more things with emotion because of the whole lighthouse thing, and now I'm like forced to make something with emotion again, and I'm like, because really, fierce
Oh.
courage is like it's supposed to summon a feeling of you know. So maybe that is my New Year's resolution. I just don't like it right now.
Yeah, fair enough. Mine is still like I still plan on doing remakes of, you know, 3 or 4 of our old challenges just for, you know, my sake. And it's not even based on whether I won or lost the challenge. It's just like, yeah, I think I can do this better. I want to try it again. The paper towel holder is not in that list, just so you know, before you even ask. It is not in the
Chicken,
list. I have no
chicken.
interest. There's no interest.
Bark, bark, bark,
No,
bark.
no interest. No interest whatsoever.
It's funny because he uses this paper towel holder in his
Oh
shop
yeah.
constantly, but then
Yeah.
complains about it constantly and has no interest in redoing it.
It's ugly. It works. Like it is a 100%
So
functional
would
type of, although it's not like,
so would a plunger. If you just got a
well,
plunger from the dollar
absolutely.
store, it would work as well as your toilet
I
paper or
actually
as
would
your
work better.
yeah.
Yeah, mine's not like stable. It's a terrible piece.
Uh, we have to come up with a trophy too for the loser.
No,
So
you came up with the trophy idea. Don't
yeah,
you
but what
remember?
were we going to start with?
Well, we can start with that trophy down there if you want. Okay, over the next month,
Yeah.
if you're out and about, take a look at like secondhand shops, and we'll look around for ugly trophies in secondhand shops because they're
Okay.
frequently. But like, yeah, something, because the idea is we will get a trophy, and then if you are, it's the loser trophy. It's not the winner
Yes,
trophy.
it's the loser trophy.
And
If
then
you're
if you are the
behind in the
loser,
yeah.
you have to attach something to it,
Yeah.
and it will continue to get uglier and uglier.
Yes.
So, okay, I like it.
Sounds good. 27th. If you're listening to this after the 27th, you can still go on Instagram and check them out. We'd still love to hear in the comments. If you're listening to this before or on the 27th, you can go on Instagram, Brothers and Smithing, and vote for your favorite, and then go to Deer Run Forge and vote for mine, and then go to Tapley Tinsmith. And I will even allow you to vote for his on Tapley Tinsmith because
I
if
love this.
he
I
loses this
know.
one again, we're gonna talk about it for way too long next month. But
Yes, do check it out. Please vote. Thanks for listening, and hopefully you'll listen again next month. All right, you have a good night, sir.
you too.
Cheers.
See ya.